Can you guys hear the Trade the News guy? Yeah, I wasn't sure if you could hear it over my earpiece or whatnot. All right, so it is Super Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. Time to elect a new president of the United States of America. So, what will that leave us? I think what we should do is identify key levels of support and resistance. What do you think? Yep. And yeah, so I mean, really, it's hard to predict what the price action is going to be if you can't predict what the outcome is going to be and the market's reaction to the outcome. So, really, pick the key lines of support and resistance, and you know, make sure you don't do anything stupid, right? I mean, those are the two biggies, right? One thing that I would recommend is you don't buy or sell a currency simply because of like a key pivot point or something. And you say, "Oh, I normally buy here." Well, this is a sort of a black swan risk event. What normally works does not normally happen. Does that make sense? If you normally buy at S2 just because it's S2, don't do that today. You got it? Yes. And the other thing to remind yourself is just go with the flow. Don't say, "Oh, look how far it's fallen, so I'm going to buy it." Just erase all of that from the database. Okay? So maybe you should write those things down. Make a contract with yourself that you're not going to do those things today. Yeah, well, Ryan says he's going to sit out the results, but maybe he feels a little overcautious. Well, if you're a professional investor, isn't your job to be there? Right? Isn't it your job to make money like all the time? If you have clients, what's your job? Why do they pay you money? To hold it? No. Get out there and make some money, right? But just don't lose any money. Don't do anything stupid and lose a lot of money, right? So so I'd turn it around, Ryan, and I'd say, do your friggin' job, right? Be there, be smart, be in control, be disciplined, be focused, have a plan, right? No one wants to pay you money to walk away and not look at it, right? Yeah. So wow, so this flash update or whatever it was is just ridiculously slow. It won't even load the video. Oh, here it comes. Wow. Yeah, what a great update. So everything else must be the worst. The forced flash update. Maybe the song will start. I don't want to mess with it really. So yeah, so remind yourself that today is not the day that you blow up your trading account, but you should still make some money. Conflict with video card, a flash update? Yeah, maybe. You know. I mean, I only have 18 screens, right? You know how many video cards that is? That's a lot of video cards to conflict with, but they're all the same video card. Oh. All right, still waiting for Flash. It looks like it's got the YouTube video loaded. Wait for it. Wait for it. So we'll go through the majors, but I want to kind of go through the commodities and commodity currencies and stuff like that. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of action. Well, Ron, it's not even that old of a computer. What have I had it, a year? Maybe it's been 2 years. I don't know. I'm not good with time. Maybe it's 100 years old. I honestly wouldn't know. So does it look like the YouTube video is trying to load? Strange. Someone else has sent me a message saying that they're now trying to log into the room for the webinar on their cell phone, which they normally do. And now for some reason that app isn't working. So this is all a quick meeting. So hopefully they have a fix or an update. Well, do I have to sing it again for a second day in a row? Life is great, life is grand, life is good. Life is beautiful, oh, you gotta give it all you got, gonna get what you give. Life is grand, life is good, life is beautiful. Oh, and it just bombed out. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if it'll load a PowerPoint slide. Even that seemed like that was going to be a bit of an issue. And it is required, the U.S. government does require not only I tell you a disclaimer, to worry about them, right? I have to worry about them. It wouldn't be fair. Right? Here we go. Let me remind you that trading is risky and not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. So please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. By the way, that reminds me, somebody like started a post on Forex.today and didn't finish it, just putting a disclaimer. And you know somebody doesn't know what they're doing when they think they know what they're doing by putting a disclaimer. And then when you read the disclaimer, none of it has any sort of legal requirement. Like it's a disclaimer, but like no regulatory agency would care about what that guy said in his disclaimer. Right? So here's, for those that want to write a disclaimer. Okay. The government wants you to say, trading is risky and not appropriate for everyone. Okay? The next thing they want you to say is, your past performance does not predict future results, or guarantee future results, or indicative of future results. All three of those are fine. And that's it. That's really it. They don't really care anything. So I've recommended people trade real money on a demo account before they risk real money, and they actually hated that. I had discussions and and all this kind of stuff, like multiple discussions with the National Futures Association over that, and they hated it because they're like, success on a demo account sucks. That's really bad advice. If you don't take that disclaimer down, we will sue you. I'm like, mother, what? Dig, dig, if you will, the picture. You and I engaged in a trade. Yeah, okay. I rebooted. I don't know. Again, it seems to be click meeting. Yeah, I think you saw that. I have internet connection, and then if that goes down, I have a backup internet connection. So I know it's not good to blame other people, but it's not me, it's them. Can you, my darling? Can you picture bliss? The euro and dollar in move. All right. So, wow. Okay. Just try not to touch anything. Once again, after trillions of dollars invested in the internet, we can't like run a webinar. Great. But I don't blame Click Meeting. I would blame whoever's in charge of Flash. And of course, I blame Microsoft for really everything. Right? If your cat gets cat cancer, it's Microsoft's fault. All right, so okay, here we go, yo. Oil, 45 bucks a barrel. Indicative of what? We're going to have a lot of oil. How many people here read the OPEC report? I'm thinking maybe Ryan. Eh? No? Would you like to tell? Okay. Would you like me to tell you? See, right? All right. What does, how much, how do you say it in English? What does OPEC expect the price of oil to be in 2021? OPEC, the oil people. Charlie. Come on, Chucky. The oil people. All right. The oil people. Be quiet, Trade News. All right. $65 a barrel. Okay. And that doesn't seem unreasonable to me. 2021. What is it? 2016? I mean, that's ways out there, right? 2021. And I thought, that's pretty reasonable, right? I don't think that's crazy, right? But then here's my next thought. These guesses are always wrong, right? Like no matter who's guessing, not just OPEC, anybody. If it was the IMF predicting GDP, global GDP in 2021, whatever they say is going to be wrong. Okay? So then the next thing, if you're going to be a smarty pants, right, was to say, well, which way are they wrong? Are they wrong high or are they wrong low? So what would an oil man think? Are there any women members of OPEC? Probably not, right? Jenny, T. Yeah. No? How about this? Just put this in your pipe. So Clinton's going to win today, right? So, anyways, you have the president of the United States, the president of the UK, the president, or I shouldn't say president, the prime minister of the UK, chancellor of Germany, three of the largest economies in the world, all run by women, and the the Fed and the IMF, two of the most powerful financial institutions in the world, all run by women. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's just amazing. Right? Isn't it? Like, it just kind of like, right? Even women, I think, didn't see that coming. Yeah. So, anyways, wow. They're going to enslave men. We need to fight back. Right? Pretty soon I'm going to be tying my t-shirt around my belly and selling beer at the bar. Get your Miller Lite here. Get your Bud Light there. right? I have to wear denim shorts and cowboy boots now. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, going back to this, oil people are going to think oil's going to go up more than it's going to go up, right? Russ shouldn't be that bad. Eh? So, anyways, yeah, they're going to think it's going to go too high. So, if 65 is too high, holy smokes! What I've been saying, oil can stay low for 5, 10 years, right? Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of what it feels like, right? That if 65 is on the high side, we're really stuck in this 45, 55 range for 5 years. Holy smokes, Canada. I'm going down in a burning ring of fire. I go down, 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 and the flames get higher, and it burns, burns, burns. Yeah, right? Holy, CAD is not going to recover, right? Okay, very interesting. I think very, very interesting. So, how do you do it? Well, how about why is it interesting? Why is it interesting? Let's make sure all the dots are connected. Retail sales week over week down, according to Goldman Sachs. Down significantly, in fact. I hope you guys are typing answers. See, I already know the answer, so like I could do a webinar with myself. But I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. I could die. But I'm trading on the Forex. Is anybody? Yeah. Well, all right. Well, nobody's answering. All right. So why is that important? We have discussed it before. It has to do with inflation, right? If inflation's low, there's no need for central banks to raise interest rates. Lower for longer. Welcome to a lost decade. Okay. Now I can tell you, if you have a billion or more to invest, you can make money. Yeah, I've seen deals out there where you can earn 5 or 6 or 7%. You face currency risk, and so you're going to need someone to hedge your currency risk. I don't know who, but if you have, let's say, if you just bought something for 5 billion euros, you can catch a yield on it, or let's just say an interest rate, because it's not quite right to call it yield, um, of let's say 6%, but you face the exchange risk amongst other things. But you're not going to really face an interest rate risk. When is the ECB going to significantly raise interest rates? When is the ECB going to have interest rates higher than 6%? Right? Like, I think maybe the euro's more likely to crash, right? I think the euro is more likely to dissolve than go to 6%, right? 2025, 6%. They don't even, they're not even stabilized yet, right? So I don't know. I don't know. It seems, right? So yeah, and a lot of people want out of euros, right? So these assets are selling at a discount. So you might, let's say, face a 20% um, devaluation in the euro in that amount of time. But over the course of 10 years, the euro will probably, let's say, lose 20% and then probably come back at least to where we are now. Wouldn't you think that would be right? Right? In the course of 10 years, 20% depreciation, Europe gets its act together, appreciates back to over parity to 110. Don't you think? Over 10 years? It's probably not going to dissolve, right? But I would expect some depreciation, but then I would expect some reappreciation over the course of 10 years, right? But let's say you analyze it and you say, well, there's a risk of 20% decline, right? So as long as you can get a discount greater than the 20%, then you still are going to make that 6% yield. So anyways, that's all happening, and you still need to hedge. But I'm looking at these deals, and they're there. You just need 2 billion or 5 billion or 10 billion or 20 billion euros. So the rich are going to still stay rich, right? Because you're not going to be able to go into your bank and say, yeah, could I buy a treasury that pays 6% a year over the next 10 years? Oh, and by the way, could I have 20 or 30 or 40% discount? Right? They're like, why would we give you a discount? And like, what kind of bond is going to pay 6%? Yeah, and they're like, yeah, so Bong's got it right. And they're like, well, in that case, just give me your money. Keep your mouth shut. No one will get hurt. So anyway, so oil staying low means inflation low, lower for longer. Interest rates not going to go up. Um, you know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And then, of course, the worst case scenario is everybody gets out of bonds, and you get stagflation where interest rates on the bonds are going up, yet there's no inflation. Right? Good time to be a central banker. Okay? This is European cheese falling in value. By falling, I mean here. Weekly M2 is the bottom. Oh, only to the pip. No, I'm sorry. It went 1 pip lower. So what's the target? Bung says, are we going to look at below parity in the euro soon? Not soon, no. Daniel's correct. Weekly M4, that puts us up here. And that's when you start cornering the market on Danish cheese. And why not? Because Swiss cheese is just too expensive. Like a jerk when I was a kid, when I was a young man, I was in Switzerland. I was trying to buy cheese to go on a picnic. And I'm like, oh, I'm in Switzerland. I'm going to buy cheese. So I go to the cheese section and I'm looking at all this cheese. I can't find the cheese with little holes in it. So like a jerk, I asked some guy, hey, you speak English? Yeah, I speak English. Yeah, okay, great. I'm looking for Swiss cheese. And he's like, but it's all Swiss cheese. I realize, what a jerk. Like the Swiss cheese we have in America with the holes in it. Oh my God. No, I wasn't that stupid to ask that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It was going to get really ugly, right? So I pulled my black socks up to my knees and adjusted my bum bag, and off I went. Yeah. What a ugly American, huh? Yeah. So anyways, it did happen. So anyway, Swiss cheese is too expensive, so you're going to buy your Danish cheese, but it's you might as well corner the market when it's nice and cheap up there using your U.S. dollars. Yeah, no, I did not wear a fanny pack. But one time I did need to be somewhere with a lot of cash, and I had to buy a bum bag at the dollar store. You know, fanny packs or what some people call them. And I had to stuff like $25,000 in cash in the bag, and it wouldn't fit. And it was right, so we had to get two. I just spent $2. I had one in the front and one in the back with like 12,500 in cash in the front and 12,500 in the back. It's great. Yeah, Vegas, here we come. That's the only time I ever wore one. It was a turkey. Yeah. All right. Yeah, but that's the only time. Honestly, that is again the honest truth. The only time I ever wore one of those fanny packs and stuffing it full of 25,000 in cash, and I needed to go back and buy a second one. You're like, mother, I have to go back to the dollar store. I want to spend money on these. You know, you go to the regular store and they're like $7, maybe $10, right? So, anyways. How nervous are you with all that cash? You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yes, I certainly was. All right. So, anyways, bum, 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 bum. Okay. So Danish cheese, right? Substitute for kiwi, maybe, right? Not in this case. Kiwi is Oscar Mike, and right. So, but I guess you can go Danish kran, not yen, but I don't think I got it. So we can flip over and look at kiwi. And Kiwi Steel, Oscar Mike, after that 618 Fibonacci retracement gap trade, it's still working its way up. Um, there's rumors though that they're going to cut interest rates again. So I'm kind of, I'm like, wow, right? Could be an interesting one there. Does anybody know when their next interest rate decision is? Hmm. By the way, awesome job on that response. Awesome job. All right. I ask, hey, when oil prices are likely to be low for the next 5 years, why is that important? Nobody responds. When is the interest rate decision? Boom, Thursday. Good. Well, all right, it's a start. It's a start. I'd rather you know what than why. We can get to the why stuff. You'll get paid on the why, but you need to know the what. So that's good. So, anyways, right? What does this mean to you when you see things like hit the red zone and it drops, hit the green zone and it rises? Look at that. Hillary Clinton's voting for me. I was thinking about how the Green Party would be very mad at my idea for cutting gasoline taxes. Because then they're like, well, you're not going to buy a Tesla and a Nissan Leaf. Well, first of all, people don't buy Teslas to save money. That is ridiculous, right? And Nissan Leafs, most people, if they were truthful with themselves, drive the Nissan Leaf because it was so ridiculously cheap because they got government subsidies. And nobody would buy those ugly cars. Whoever designed one should be, I don't know. I don't want to be cruel, but at least, you know, have a finger shaken at him because they're just ridiculously ugly. But they bought them because the dealerships were giving them away and they basically were free. Like I know some people that really basically got them for free because of the amount of money they save on gas, uh, and the actual payments by the time all the subsidies are given and all that kind of stuff and zero interest rates and then you save on gas and you're like, yeah, we actually don't spend money on our car. That's the reason why they drive them. So don't get all up on my junk on that, right? So, anyways, that's the truth, but nobody believes the truth. So, so is this what's going to happen? Yen would be off, right? But this is a hard one to call, right? Because I'm a dollar trader and I'm a yen trader, and this one with the risk event, you know, obviously the risk on idea, you want to be short the yen. Okay. And I want to be long dollar. There's no doubt about that, right? Yeah, the new BMW is cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. But again, guys, take a look at how very often the pivots play an important role, right? Not always, but often. You know, red zone, a little too high, but down. By the way, you know the rule, right? When you close this high outside the weekly, you sell into it. That's my only counter trend trade here. Look down to the green, holds, right down to the green, holds, up, you know, again, blow through the pivots. The counter trend trade is to sell it. Okay. Consolidate, consolidate, red outside, sell it, green side, buy it. And this isn't even perfect, but there's still something to it, right? I know it's not perfect, but there is something to it. And that's most important. So yeah, how am I going to play that? You know, I'm gonna. I mean, again, it's a little bit. You know, I wish things were slightly different. I guess, like for example, I'd like Kiwi yen, but Thursday they may cut, right? And if that's true, and I'm buying later today, then that it will be buying high, won't it? So we got to get above. If you're looking at Kiwi yen, and I know I don't have it here, but I'm looking at it over here. And Kiwi yen, we got to get through 78 to confirm the uptrend. We're not even at 77 yet. But right where we are now, this 76.80 to 77 and 77.50 count. So in the next 50 to 75 pips, or let's say the next 100 pips up, it's still resistance. Is that right, Miles? The LAPD bought a whole bunch of the Beamers. What are they? The I8s? Huh. Well, there you go. It used to be, people would revolt if, like, for example, when, you know, LAPD stopped buying Harley Davidsons instead of started buying Kawasaki's. Boy, oh no, you didn't, right? That there was a time when you were just not allowed to do stuff like that socially. Canadian housing starts 193. Shouldn't be a mover. Thanks for trying, Canada. So yeah, so I guess we got to go into the euro now. My plugin, you see how it says pound dollar, but it's euro. This isn't working all of a sudden. This just stopped working. I noticed it like this morning. on a couple of charts, it just doesn't work. So like when I change the time frame, it still, like change it to hourly, it still says pound dollar 5 minute, but I'm on the euro dollar 1 hour. So I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so I gotta make sure I don't look at that. What would make this stop working? It's kind of weird. Must have deleted something, huh? Hmm. I must have deleted something. I suppose that would do it, huh? I'll have to look into it. So, anyways, ignore that. Yeah, damn Bill Gates. All right. So, anyways, this is euro dollar down. My advice to you for the last 10 years, and certainly the last 10 months, and certainly the last 10 days, is to choose your direction, choose your lines, choose your levels, of support or resistance based on your bias, and you simply trade that. I know I talked about it yesterday. I know I talked about it last week, last month, all of it, just forever. And if you're a bear, you know M2, sorry, M3 to M1 is the target. Okay? That's all there is to it. There is nothing else. The rest of it, you're just confusing things. You're complicating things that don't need to be complicated. Next one down into the moving averages, in this case into the ribbon, up to the weekly central pivot. Next move should be down, right? Something to that effect. I don't know what to do. I guess we can pretend this, make it a three wave just to be a little more realistic. And of course, today we risk something that's not even technically or fundamentally important, right? As far as today's moves. So price action could just go boom, and we could be way up here and it has nothing to do with anything. But proper technical analysis would assume price action like this. Okay. Okay. Now Lawrence says bye bye bye. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So Lawrence should be in the buy zone right now. This weekly M2, the central pivot point, is a buy zone if you're a bull. Okay. And so I think what he would want to see is higher high, higher low. If, being a bull, buying here would be a little bit silly, or let's say risky. But maybe you could do something like this. And then buy like a mad dog, right? Yeah, or sell euro. Okay, either way, like I'm not saying right. If you were a bull here, I'm fine with it as long as you make the decision, right? And then the thing about being wrong is that it shouldn't matter if your strategy is wrong, right? Okay, shouldn't matter if your strategy is wrong. Your strategy being your bias. Your methodology could be crap, but I didn't teach you anything bad. So your strategy can be wrong. You could be a bull on the $0. Okay? I wish I could just delete that. I thought I could. So confusing. No, I can't. All right, so your strategy could be wrong. You could say, I want to be a bull on the $. Okay, and there are two scenarios for you to be wrong here. You buy it just because we're at the weekly M2 and you think this is a higher high, so the higher low, and you buy it in here, and your stop's down here. How much do you lose? 20 pips? Fine. You lose 20 pips all the time, right? Fine. You took a shot at weekly M2, you're a bull, and you thought it would go up. Well, it did make a lower low off this, and we are below that, but it doesn't matter. We all make mistakes. And you're a bull. You bought at weekly M2 on a double bottom higher high, higher low scenario. There's nothing stupid about it at all. And if you lost money, you lost money. So what? So where's your next line to buy? Well, you're probably not going to buy now until way down here. So now you're thinking, well, 109? 109.30? I mean, you don't have another buy zone for 100 pips. So you're just like, oh, well, that didn't work out. Right? Maybe you try at the psych level of 110, which is a weekly S1, which predicts a weekly R1. So you could try that, buy it at 110, going for 112. You still get 200 pips on that. So you lose 20 pips here. Try again at 110. So you lose 20 pips here. Maybe you risk another, 30 here. So now you get two shots at success. You're risking 50 pips, but the second one is worth 200. It still isn't stupid, but you have to get your entry. Like if it comes down to 110, take your shot. That's a big psych, and I might try to scalp into that where I'm using a 1 minute, and if it hits 110 and turns green, maybe I'll take a quick shot and have a stop at like 75, and I'm risking 25 pips, right? Again, whatever, probably a little risky in something that's not trending up, but it's your call, bro. But again, not a lot to lose. Still relative upside potential, right? And then the next one is, more than 50 pips below there. So, I mean, you can't screw up more than 3 times in a row here for today, especially on a normal day, right? And it's probably not going to be in quick succession and all that kind of stuff. Right? And that's being wrong. So I don't know how people when you do things like you buy it here and sell it there and buy it here and sell it there and then sell it, buy it, sell it, and you lose all over the place. I'm like, what the frick are you doing? I'm a currency trader. No, you're a loser, and you need to recognize it, and you need to be upset about it. Right? So if you do it right, even when you're wrong, it's not that big of a deal. Look at me, I'm trading. Okay. So if you're a bear now, you sell at retracements back to resistance, right? You had this you had this gap, it wasn't a full gap fill, but it was plausible. Right? Who would have thought people were protecting 1.11000? I mean, come on, dude. Come on. Right? Down below makes a lower low, retraces back to the weekly pivot. Like, come on, bro. Seriously, if you're a bear, come on. Come on. What were you waiting for? I'm a bear, but right? And then what? New lower low, new lower high. Okay, now what? Right? Well, I thought it'd go 5 pips higher, so I didn't sell it. I mean, come on. Come on, dude. Come on. Right? And then if you're a bear, it's supposed to make a new lower low. Might bounce around in here, right? We can adjust this. Obviously, there's a psych level in there. Okay, got too many little lines here, but still, like, and if it goes this way, I think you could have made money here. Okay, could have. I think you could have made money here. This I know. Okay, it's not perfect. Okay, 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 fine. Okay, fine. But if it makes a lower low here, all right, right now you got another shot there. Now you got to be careful because this is a big psych, and all bets are off at big psych. So you might want to say that's 110. That could be a bigger issue, which means it could three wave correct up to here. You ever notice how it'll do that? I think I'm going to need a proper drawing tool if I'm going to do that one. Okay, let me show you here. Okay, so let's say on a bigger time frame, somebody was looking at this. Then we hit this big psych level, and now on the even higher time frames, someone's going to, like, let's say on a daily chart, all they see is this high and this low. That's all they see. Because this happened on a lower time frame and they're not cognizant of that time frame. So, changing colors here, someone's going to fib this. What kind of fib are they going to look for? 618. And that puts us kind of up into here and then down. Right? Bounces at 110, goes to 111, and then drops. Wiping out all the short-term guys here, right? You guys ever notice that? You're like, aha, finally a downtrend. And then it goes up, 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 wipes you all out. And then you're like, aha, an uptrend. And then it wipes that out on the way down. Right? And the tricky part is it's because it's made this higher high that you go all bull. Right? And then maybe you buy here and that wimps out. On a smaller time frame, it probably comes down and up and then collapses on you. And you feel like you're chasing price all over the place. And the reason you're chasing price all over the place is you're ignoring the higher time frames, the HTs. So you're all caught up on your 5 minute and your 15 minute, and you're like, look at me, I'm a trader, but you're trading without strategy. Okay, and the strategy is important. That on the high time frame, the bigger players, okay, are trading that move here. Okay, so of course, high, lower, low. It's going to lower high 618 off of 111. And you're going to take that as a big meaning. Oh, it's a scene. It's a sign. It's not a sign. It's just price action on a higher time frame. Right? So that's why my advice forever is always start on the high time frames. Always watch the high time frames. I use a 1 minute chart and a 5 minute chart, but I can never use a 1 minute or 5 minute chart without an hourly, 4 hour, or daily. You understand? I can't scalp without knowing the higher time frames. Because how am I supposed to predict price action on a small time frame? I can't, otherwise it's just guessing, right? So we got some more Canadian news coming out. CAD actually is now Oscar Mike. Oil market opened 8 minutes ago. Actually, a lot of markets opened 8 minutes ago. Okay. Here's a 30-minute chart. London, New York, Tokyo, New York. Only wanna see you with me in the double room. Oh. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. You got to be careful in this one too. It feels like a fakey fake, where it goes pops and up. But once again, we don't know what's going to happen with the election and how that's going to impact things. So this is where you do if-then statements. Why don't you print out your charts twice and do if-then statements for a bullish change in direction and a bearish continuation? And say, if it reverses, how will it do it, right? If it reverses, then it'll do it this way. -7, bad news for kitty cat. Okay. And then the other scenario, if it continues down, how do you trade that? Have you ever thought about that, guys? Yeah. Literally, like a game, like a plan for the day, like going into, let's say you're a basketball coach, right? And your team's going into a tournament. What do you do? Just walk in and see how the other team's doing? No, if they match, if they put this player on the floor, then we'll match them with that, and they're a big team, but it means they're a slow team, so we're going to move the ball quick, and all that kind of stuff. Well, you actually, Miles, you should always think with both hats, always. Okay. The reason for that is when you're right, but you also know when you're wrong because you're thinking about bulls and bears. And also, I'm often so like look at the reversal here, right? Why am I thinking that? Well, if there are bulls in the market, that's where they're going to buy it. They're going to kick it off at 55. It's going to drop into the psych level, right? And double bottom on 33.50. Okay, that's what a bull would do. Okay, but even if I'm a bear, that's relevant. So if you sell at the 55, you should take profit here. That's how it works. Oh, but but Wayne, it might fall farther. Well, so what? You're already out of the trade. You already made your money. Why would you care about that? Oh, I should hold on to it. It might fall, right? No, well, the 55 tells you it's going to double bottom. So where's the double bottom? Well, right there at 33.50. So why wouldn't you do what you're supposed to do? But you told me let the winners run. Well, who said that was a winner? Right? You guys see that on this time frame? 55 is in control. It's predicting a double bottom. So why would you ignore that? Okay. Yeah, someone would argue that it is trending down. Yeah, okay, but the 55 tells me to take profit. So I really should seriously consider taking profit, right? And then what? Let's say it does break. Well, then sell the next rally. I mean, what's the big deal? Right? But doesn't it look like This is going to come down, and this will be oversold and want to head back up. Yeah. Right? So is anyone going to put some trade plans up today? Yep. Has anyone decided to use Forex.today as a trade journal? Okay, good. I am trying to gather a list of people that can't post on Forex.today. I need a list because the programmer logs, tests your account and it works. And I'm like, but I know it doesn't work. So I need a list so he can go and figure it out. But it's weird where, 10 people can't, but 100 people can. It's weird, right? So we got to figure out what it is that's doing it. Okay. I don't remember seeing an email from you, Marina, though. Unless you sent it just overnight. But yeah, let's see. No, I don't have an email from you, Marina. Wayne at fxbootcamp.com. Oh, yeah. No, no, no. Wayne at fxbootcamp.com. Yeah. I'm not an I'm not an right. I'm not an employee of Traders Way. I'm not a I'm not a executive or anything like that. Yeah, well maybe that has somehow related, Ryan. So maybe that's what's causing it, the social networking login. Wonder if we turn them off, if that would help. Yeah. Thank you, Marina. All right. Yeah, we're almost out of time. Let's go back to S&P. It's all kind of scary. We're all kind of waiting. So I don't want to get too much into normal technical analysis because remember, all bets are off today, guys. So it looks like I sliced and diced that one for you. Euro, dollar, peso, you probably already know that. I'm just sick of this now. It's like, it's gotten ugly where it's everybody's new thing, which means I have to reject it. So you guys know I'm a cigar guy, right? Did you know during the cigar boom, I stopped smoking cigars? I remember the exact moment. I'm in a cigar shop in San Francisco, near my office that I used to have a million years ago. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a long time ago, right? And and I'm in this humidor, walk-in humidor, and I'm choosing a cigar. And to me, it's a big deal. I'm in there, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking, and I'm touching, and I'm smelling, and I mean, I'm in there 15 minutes, right? And I still can't make a decision. Not that I can't make a decision. It's just like there's this is an important thing to me, right? And then this guy walks in, like $1,000 suit, $1,000 cufflinks, and the owner of the shop comes in, and he's like, "How much is this one?" Oh, they're $25 each. And how much is this one? And do you have anything more? And how much is this one? Give me a bunch of those. And what about that? Do you have anything? Do you have anything more expensive? And just give me that. And he just up and walked out. And it was the most ugly, disgusting spectacle I'd ever seen. And that's how the industry became. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I walked out. I didn't buy anything for like 10 years. That's it. I can't just that. Yeah, done. Right. So I went back and specialized in Swiss cheese. Yeah. I don't know, but honestly, that's a true story. I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm done. I can't be a part of this. I'm out. It just got really ugly real fast. Cool. Right? And same thing with really the .com industry. It got really ugly really fast. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to go try finance. So, any other currencies you would like me to cover today? Do you want to do the Kiwi yen? I mean, it's all kind of too late. It's all stuff you should have done earlier today or yesterday, but then if you weren't around for the gap, you were sleeping, then you missed it. So you either traded the gap or you didn't. You either got the pullback to the 21 earlier or you didn't. Talking about it now seems really irrelevant. And we're all just waiting for elections and stuff, right? So we got a Euro CAD. Yeah, yeah. You know what? No, I don't want to do that one, Marina. We're going to say, you know, I'm generally bearish on the CAD, although I can see the CAD strong at the moment. I'm generally bearish on the CAD, and I'm generally bearish on the euro. So I'm going to skip that one for that reason. But if you're trading it and you're doing well, I'm not saying you can't do well. It's just that's how I am. So if the CAD is strong right now, I'll probably just ignore it for a while. But you're probably killing it and crushing it, and that's cool. Mexican peso, I had that. This is Mexican peso, what you're looking at. But again, it's all sort of irrelevant. I mean, look, you know we're at support, right? And we know it's going to move on emotion. And what am I going to do? Sell this into that? Like, no. I mean, again, it's where were you up here, right? I mean, it's just all too late. So we don't need to go into it. Aussie dollar. Oh, well, we're at a pivot. We're at a pivot. I kind of like Aussie yen better, so I'm going to do Aussie yen in lieu of Aussie dollar. And of course, we know Aussie dollar could get crushed depending on which way the wind blows today. Oh, so there you go. And I select Aussie dollar anyways. So I'm going to try to avoid that. So hang on. So there it is. There's the analysis. Great. Let's go Aussie yen instead. But you can see the resistance that I mentioned earlier. All right. Okay. So as you can see, I've already put you long on Aussie yen. So there's not a lot to talk about, right? You can see I predicted it would go up here and drop. Well, I guess it's this one and drop. It's pretty good though, right? Right? I mean, because I don't know the timing. Look how far back I drew it. But, you know, I said here and then a drop to here. It's not bad, right? And then what? And then I have it going up, but I got to move this over. Okay. And I have it going up. So this is all pre-done, wrapped up for you. Looks like I did this. If that was the peak 3 weeks ago. Okay. So here we are now, Oscar Mike, and the reason I bring it up is it's just slightly higher than this high. So if we can get higher than this high, you know, zooming in now, if we can get above, okay, if we can get above this and this is above that, then maybe we trend today, right? And maybe gold moves today because of the election, because I don't know, Trump wins and it's bad for global trade or something, right? Something. Who knows what people's thinking are. So maybe a gold takes off. Maybe that is good for Aussie. I don't really want to trade, dollar. I'm gonna pick a direction today. I might roll a coin. I actually don't do that anymore. I'm probably either going to buy U.S. dollars or not buy U.S. dollars, depending on what happens, unless there's a catastrophic event and dollar just falls off the face of the earth. I don't think so. We're going to raise interest rates in a couple of weeks, right? So, or a few weeks. So, I don't know. So if dollar wants to get weak, maybe I just scalp. But, that's just me picking up crumbs, right? I'm not baking a loaf of bread. I'm just picking up crumbs, but I don't have to like it. So I'm going to generally try to buy dollar, unless it's just ridiculously weak, then I'll just scalp. So, I don't know. So if gold goes up, I'm going to want to buy Aussie dollar, but I don't want to sell US dollar unless I have to. So I'm more like, wouldn't it be nice for Aussie yen to continue this move up? But, again, this is a plan I gave you 3 weeks ago, right? So I'm assuming that you might be in at 79, right? And change. I mean, you should be up 100 pips or more already. The question is, can we get to 84? Charlie, I don't do futures anymore because of taxation issues. But if it wasn't for taxes, yeah, I'd trade the heck out of it. I love the S&P 500. I love oil. The thing about S&P 500, how about this? Let's do a test just as I wrap up. What was my message all last week? The S&P 500 dropped for 9 days in a row. What was my message all last week? Buy it. Buy it, 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 buy it. Pick your lines and buy. Okay. So anyways, it's going up. Yeah. Of course it's going up. I love the S&P 500. Love it. Okay. Loof it. Once again, pivot points, right? Stabilizes around the green, crashes off the red, stabilizes on the green, about to crash off the red. Well, that's why they invented stop losses, son. Okay. But my general attitude to the stock market, unless there's a macro reason, Okay. So it's like a Newtonian law. Unless some macro fundamental thing changes, the stock market is going to go up. It may not go up today or this week, but there is a trade wind blowing, and it's easier for it to go up than down. Now, generally, it slowly goes up and then crashes down. Slowly goes up, crashes down. But at some point when we get through this election, I would assume the bond market's going to fall. I'm going to assume that much of that money is going to go into the stock market. Okay. It would be better if oil went up because then there would be inflation, and then the Fed would have to raise interest rates sooner than later. And in that case, you know, that would also be sort of a weird macro good thing. So I don't know. I'm a buyer of dips. Okay. And in January, the stock market crashed, the worst open, I think, in history, right? Dropped 10%. And the whole time I was saying, get ready to buy, get ready to buy. I told you, told my wife, told my friends, told everybody, stay calm, stay focused. Right? So that's why I love the stock market, because I have a bias. I buy it and I put a stop. I buy it, I put a stop. I buy it, I put a stop. So trade safe out there, guys. Remember, today is a test. You need to step up to the plate, not bury your head in the sand. You need to step up to the plate and accept the challenge that you are going to behave the way that you would like to behave in the future, except the future is right now. It's going to be highly volatile. There's going to be whipsaws. News is going to come out that so-and-so is going to win. And then, an hour later, no, that person may not win. And then it all comes back down. I want you to stay calm and focused. I want you to trade smart. I don't want you to buy just because it's at a particular price level. I want you to have plans and plan A, plan B, plan C. What's the fallback? Where's the longer term support and resistance? What does it look like on the small time frame? What kind of reversal patterns are you going to play? Make sure you use OCOs. You have your stop and your limit, and make them consistent. If the market is highly volatile, make it consistent. 25 pip stop, 50 pip limit, and know that even 50-50 makes you money. Okay? And this is a test. If you can't do this, you're going to need another year. You understand? You fail the test, you're going to need another year until you can even remotely think of success. So it's a big deal. So I want you to trade, but trade the way that you want to trade when you become, an adult. When I grow up, I want to trade with patience and discipline. Okay? Well, why don't you just start now, right? Grow up. Take the challenge, behave the way you want to trade. So yesterday I gave you advice of writing down trade plans and thinking about the way that you want to act. What are your rules of engagement during this volatility? Right? When it's decided, they'll know, right? So do all those things or don't do all those things. It's just my advice. It's probably meaningless, probably worthless advice. Do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Okay? Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.